What's up, Mountaineer Nation? It's your boy, Bernie Mac. We are here on the Voice of Morgantown show. We are going to be talking about lots today, including live appearances by VOM this week at the Backyard Brawl and Jimmori Robinson. Lots more at VOM. Here we go.
So Morgantown, we break it first. WVU pride, we quench your thirst. No spin, all truth, loud and proud. Mountaineer Nation, say it loud. The voice of Morgantown. VOM, Mountaineer pride, we go all in. First to the facts, last to the spin. It's the voice of Morgantown. Let's begin.
How's everybody doing today? It's your boy, Bernie Mac. Who's excited for the Backyard Brawl this week? Let me move this mic out. Looks a little weird with darkness over here. Sorry. But who's excited for Pittsburgh coming to town? Everybody that's been seeing some of the information that's out on the internet, it's been funny to see their quarterback cry about, oh, I'm going to get some beer thrown at me. I'm going to have little kids yell at me. It's pathetic. Also, a lot of information coming out about how Narduzzi and the AD apparently talked to our AD, and we didn't want to play them, which is total garbage. So if you need any more reasons to hate Pitt this weekend, I think we're all finding it. But look, I'm excited. It's going to be a great game. I know a lot of us are disappointed after what happened at Ohio. But look, it's a rivalry game, everybody, and we never know what could happen. I know we lost two key players. I know we got humbled a little bit last week. But at the same time, it's the Backyard Brawl, everybody. It's exciting. And this is the last Backyard Brawl for God knows who knows. So we don't know when the rivalry is going to be back on the schedule. So what I would say is for everybody to come out, support the Mountaineers this week if you're local, you're around, and root on the team. And for everybody that's going to be following, and I'm going to tell you guys this now, I'm going to be there, and I'm going to be broadcasting live. We're going to be doing 3 different VOM shows throughout the broadcast that day. We're going to be broadcasting from the Mountaineer Brothers Bourbon Lot, C9. And we're going to be giving a ton of things away. We have multiple partners that we have for advertising that are going to be there, giving a ton of swag away. I'll be interviewing some former players. We're going to interview some Pitt fans. It's going to be a blast. So for everybody that's going to be in town, I'll reiterate this here in a little bit, but if anybody's going to be in town for the Backyard Brawl, come find your boy Bernie Mac at C9 in the blue lot. And come have a drink, come hang out, come talk about the game, what your feelings are, just have a good time. So with that being said, I'm curious, as you guys can see, I'm here by myself today. So please feel free to drop any comments, questions in the chat, how you're feeling about West Virginia's chances this week against Pittsburgh. I know there's been a lot of chatter that we feel, we're a bit overmatched. For anybody that's been following, the spread has actually increased. Initially, the spread was at 4.5 favoring Pittsburgh. I believe last check, it was up to 7. Curious to see what everybody's thoughts are on that. But again, I think it's going to be a fun weekend. We have great weather forecast, and this could be the last Backyard Brawl in a while, which is really sad. And I know I've seen a lot of people posting about this, but for those of the old West Virginia guard and people that have followed the program for a while, there used to be a really fun rivalry between Pitt, West Virginia, and Penn State. Unfortunately, that's gone away, but there used to be I believe it was like a trophy that was shared for whoever won each year and all this kind of stuff. But it's really a shame to see some of these really great rivalries go away because of conference realignment. And Pitt is definitely one of them. I mean, as much as I hate Pitt, I respect the rivalry, and I enjoy going to it. Even when I went and I lived in Pittsburgh after college, after graduating West Virginia, and I would live in Pitt and go to the games. Yeah, people gave me crap because I'd have a WVU jersey on and whatever. But at the end of the day, I mean, it's kind of what you're supposed to do, right? Like, we're all passionate about our fan bases and our schools. So I enjoyed it. But it's such a good rivalry, and I'm really disappointed. And I know a lot of people are about the fact that we don't have game day kind of showcasing this rivalry. For those of you that don't know, it would have been the first time in game day history and in West Virginia history where we would have actually had a true rivalry showcase on game day. I mean, you've had Auburn, Alabama, but we've never had anything like that from a West Virginia standpoint. I think it would have been great. So it's so hard to kind of think of losing that opportunity, especially in what we don't know is going to be the last iteration of the Brawl for a while. So anyway, lots to go over today. So for everybody that's just joining, your boy Bernie Mac is going to be on site at the Backyard Brawl this weekend on Saturday from 12 to 3, hanging out with my guys. And for those of you that don't know, let me see if I can find it. I know Swill Dog is our official bourbon of the program, which I really don't know how that came to be. But I can tell you, too, that I've had this Blue Lot bourbon, and it is delicious. It's fantastic. And the guys that did it, they founded it because they hung out in the Blue Lot, which I thought was pretty cool. So there's a huge story behind it. They're great guys. They're West Virginia alum. They're West Virginia advocates. They've been a part of the program for a long time, and they're just good people. And I would tell you, if you are going to be in the Blue Lot, you're going to be hanging out, make sure you stop by and you grab yourself some Blue Lot bourbon. I'm going to put up right here so everybody can see it. Hold on. Let me get that up, and you guys can check it out. But it's kind of funny, right? Like, you think about all this stuff with how the university does broadcasts and pick their partners and yada, yada. But I'll tell you right now, Blue Lot bourbon's fantastic. It's one of the best bourbons I've had. They do a great job, and it's just a bunch of guys that wound up starting this company because they were partying in the Blue Lot and said, hey, you know what, we should start our own bourbon company, and they made a fantastic bourbon whiskey. So for anybody that hasn't seen it, they do a good job of a tailgate. Make sure you come by. Again, it's going to be in lot C9, so be sure to pop by. So again, I'm going to address all the comments. So if you drop a comment in the chat today, I promise I'll get to it. I'll get to it intermittently throughout the show, but I'm very curious to see how everybody's feeling about the Pitt game, given our performance at Ohio. Do you guys feel we're going to step up? Do you feel we're going to rebound? Do you feel we're going to collapse? What were your thoughts on Rich Rod's press conference comments this week? From my recollection, what he highlighted specifically in the press conference was that the O-line did a good job, but they were put in bad situations. They weren't coached very well, which was kind of an odd comment, but there's several things they addressed. He felt like some of the wide receivers will step up. There's a lot of talk about Ty Edwards, who I'm dying to see playing a little more, which would be great. We're obviously going to have to see how the running back room shakes out with Jaheim White, Jalen Bray injuries on the wide receiver side. There's just a lot of unknowns, right? And I've said it too. I mean, we all know Rodney Gallagher is one of my favorite players. I just truly love the guy. I think he's fantastic. He's got a special kind of tribute going on this week for the Backyard Brawl, which I love. So for any of you that do not follow Rodney Gallagher, let me see if I can figure that out, pull it up for you real quick. But Rodney Gallagher is just different. Again, he's one of those guys that when we recruited him and got him in the program, he truly became such a huge advocate for the program. But if you look at who he is and what his profile picture is and what he's about, I don't really think you need to look further than this to show you what kind of guy he is, because he's solid people. And again, I mean, this is a compliment to some of the kids we recruit, but obviously you see that's RG with his mom, who he's paying a special tribute to this week at the Pitt game. And, again, there's a lot to be said about these young men, and we talk about it all the time. That's why I'm such a fierce defender of these young men when people attack them for not playing well or some of the stuff going on in the transfer portal, the NIL. We saw a lot of that last year with Hudson Clement. The blowback that was received by him just for transferring out to Illinois. I've said this numerous times. We are not in anybody's life, right? We're not in anybody's position. But when you have a good kid and you have a good student athlete, you know what you have. And we have a lot of them on this team this year. And Rodney Gallagher being one. I've told you guys we interviewed Ty Edwards a few weeks back. He is literally hilarious. If you guys have not seen that interview, it's coming up on Spotify. I think I finally have it queued for upload today. But he's one of the funniest and most humble guys you'll ever meet. So you're just fortunate sometimes to have really good kids around your program, and Rodney Gallagher is one of those kids. And when you look at what he's doing, and I'm going to put this up too because I think it's important. He's wearing this Grief Awareness Day. I'll remember mother died when he was 7 to honor kids grieving all over the world. I mean, that's the kind of guy that we have in our program right now. And again, it's a guy that we know was heavily recruited to go elsewhere when the coaching change happened. And Rodney Gallagher chose to stay, and he's just been a tremendous Mountaineer. He's a tremendous young man. And I'm really grateful he chose to stay because I think he's got a bright future ahead of him. But I'm more grateful because of who he is. And just having these kind of people around your program and kids that really kind of have their head on straight, really it kind of like leeches on to the other kids in the program. And I think anybody that knows Rodney, for him to be doing this today or this weekend for his mom is just a tremendous tribute to his mom and the young man that he is and who he's become. So, all right, we're going to get to some comments here in a minute. And let me see here. I just don't want to get in the weeds because we always have a ton of comments. So I'm going to address a few and then we'll go back to the show. Let's see. We got Joey Foster here. I'll throw shit at Pitt. I'll feed the homeless. Wow. Yeah. Look, that's a little aggressive there, my friend. But at the end of the day, I share your sentiment, and I don't think there's any love lost by anybody for the Pitt program in the West Virginia side of the program. So I share your feelings, and we'll see where it goes. Let's see. We got Cheers Beers and Mountaineers. Love that name on YouTube. I will be in the seats. Can't wait. Well, Cheers Beers Mountaineers. Come see me at C9 in the blue lot. I will be there broadcasting live. Would love to interview you. I love having all of our listeners on. It'll be fun. We're going to have a good time that day. Again, we've got the Mountaineer Brothers or Blue Lot Bourbon will be there. They've got a unique drink from Blue Lot Bourbon, which is actually great. So I would tell you to make sure you find me in C9 and let's have a fun day. Let's see who else we got here. Pokemon Kid Entertainment. WVU will play hard. Well, Pokemon Kid, I wish I could have said the same thing last week. I really did think WVU would come out firing for that Ohio game. I don't have an answer as to why they didn't. It was really disappointing to kind of see how they played and just that game in general. So I don't know that they're going to come out and play hard. I think the thing I'm concerned about, and I'd be curious to get everybody else's opinion on this, right? When you have 81 transfers that are coming into a program, do you really feel like they understand the backyard brawl? Do they understand the history of the backyard brawl? How much we actually hate Pitt? Why we hate Pitt? Do they understand what happened in 2007? I don't know. Pitt likes to hang over our head. Oh, we've got national championships, all this kind of stuff. I don't even really consider them national championships because there's like 8 teams in the league. But at the end of the day, they continue to try and like make our program look insufficient or inadequate to theirs. And I'm just tired of it. I've said it as much as it pains me to say. Pitt has had a better program the last several years than West Virginia has, but a lot of that lies at the feet of Neil Brown, which we know, and we really haven't had like the spotlight. And I remember reading an article, it was probably like 2014, 15, somewhere in there, where there was, I think it was a Pitt Post Gazette talking about like how West Virginia is totally uh, deregulated Pitt, and that the programs are on completely different trajectories, and it shouldn't be like this, yada yada. But here we are, and Pitt is in a better spot, and they've had a consistent coach. As much as Narduzzi annoys me, and I think he's full of shit half the time. He's been their coach for a long time, and he's had some success. They have a Heisman winner, they have a Bolitnikoff winner. We don't have any of that ever at West Virginia, so it's hard to argue the Pitt fans that attack us on those points, because we really don't have an argument, and we need to be better as a program, to do that kind of stuff. And I think a lot of it starts with the recruiting. I think back to Rich Rod again, if he would have stayed, that year after we lost to Pitt, who knows? It could have been a very different trajectory, but the reality is that's not where we are. So, again, we're going to address a lot of other comments, but here, if you guys haven't seen, please follow us on YouTube, Voice Morgantown Network, totally free, but you'll get your latest, newest news, and the WVU Scoops app, WV Scoops, on the Apple App Store. Be sure to do that as well. We give a ton of giveaways and other things. So let's go through some more fan comments. I'll get back to some topics. Let's see. Spread is what it is. 07 Pitt was a 24-point underdog, so that spread means nothing. I totally agree with you, Joey. We've seen that happen, unfortunately, at our expense, where the spreads really do not mean anything. I just am really concerned about the O-line and our running backs being able to pick up blitzes. Pitt's defense is very aggressive. As much as it pains me to say, they have a very good athletic defensive line. They have two very good All-American linebackers, and they're strong on the backside. So if we try and put up a performance like we did last week against Ohio versus Pitt, it's not going to fly. Rich Rod's definitely going to have to think of how to move the ball differently. He cannot run those vanilla plays he ran last week. He's going to have to take some shots through the middle on deep out routes and some deep outs. I think if he does that, he'll be okay. But if we continue to do what we did last week, it's not going to be pretty. Let's see. Pokemon Kid. I believe WVU wins this game. I've got a feeling 28-24. I think that's what we're all hoping for, buddy. The reality is, look, we had a really bad loss at Ohio last week. Nobody wanted that to happen. I still can't figure out why it happened, but I will say that if we beat Pitt this week and we beat them handily, then we're okay. And a lot of things go away, and a lot of the pressure comes off the program for a little bit. We split the rivalry in the renewed series with Pitt 2-2, as opposed to going 1-3, which would be horrendous. Even though we should be 3-0, thanks a lot, Neil Brown. But again, I think if we can win this weekend, especially when we're an underdog, which is tough pill to swallow at home as well, a lot of those things go away. So I agree with that. Let's see what happens. Let's see, 34-31 final after overtime. Joey, that's a big prediction, my man. I like it, though. I think everybody would. Look, I don't think anybody thinks this game's going to be a blowout one way or the other. I think Zach Alley, again, I've said this every week, every time I do a show, he's such a differentiating factor. He's so good at adjusting. We've seen it the last 2 weeks. We've had 0 points scored on us in the second half. He's fantastic. And I really do hope that Ren Baker or anybody in the athletic program is listening right now, because you got to do this if you're going to ever figure out how to keep that guy, because he is just a stud. And I'm telling you right now, for anybody that has not seen Zach Alley and his coaching ability, he is just one of those guys right now that is going to be heavily recruited. repeatedly from multiple programs, and I have no doubt in my mind that that guy is going to be a superstar. So if anybody from the athletic department is watching, please do me a favor and just do this for me.
Pay him. Pay that man his money.
That's the only way we're going to be able to keep a guy like Zach Alley, because that guy's a stud. And I think somebody brought up to me the other day on X and basically said, like, hey, we need to make him a head coach in waiting and have him teed up behind Rich Rod. And I would tend to agree with that. Zach Alley, if he continues to follow the path he's on, he's going to be a hot commodity very soon. And to turn around our defense the way he did, 1 year going from the worst defense in the Big 12 to what we are right now, which, again, I don't know the rankings, but just from what I've seen, we've given up 20 points 2 games. I could live with that all day. So, all right, we're going to go a few more comments here, and then we're going to go back to show. Cheers, Bears, Mountaineers. It took losing Ohio to win this game. I'll lose Ohio out 10 out of 10 times. All right, well, that's fair. I agree with you. There was a lot of talk about other Big 12 teams and other P4 programs that lost to lesser, inferior opponents and then went on to make a deep run in the league or get to the championship game or whatever it might be. I'm not saying that we can't do that. I 100% think we can, but there's got to be some substantial adjustments on the offensive line to the play calling, clock management, recognizing when the up-tempo offense is not working. That's something I know Rich Rod has a hard time doing because he feels like conditioning is an advantage. But again, and I've said numerous times, if you would have looked at the game last week and we were able to give our defense a little respite by not running up-tempo, it probably would have helped in the first half. So neither here nor there, just my opinion. Let's see. Joey Foster, agree on cheers and beers. Love it. All right, perfect. All right, so we're going to talk about a few more things right here. So there's been a lot of talk about Jimmori Robinson, and this has been all over the media. I'm just going to tell you guys honestly, look, Voice of Morgantown broke this story first. I do not know why we do not get credit for certain components of what we do in this business, but it's just the business and the way it is, and that's fine. We broke the Jimmori Robinson story at 3:15, saying that he was going to be eligible to play against Pittsburgh. And for whatever reason, I don't know why, we did not get credit with that story. We wound up, I think it was like Ear Sports or whoever it was got credit for the story. But here's the ad for everybody that needs to see it and everybody that doesn't believe that we actually did it at 3:15. But it's just the way of the world, right? We break story and then everybody says, oh, you're going off a tweet, you're doing this and that. So I'm here to tell everybody now, so you guys could hear directly from me. We did not go off a tweet. Nobody would go off of a tweet and put a story out that basically says like, oh yeah, Jimmori Robinson's eligible. It's just not how it works in media, everybody. So I appreciate a lot of the context. Like everybody's like, oh, you did this. No, we had sources very close to Jimmori essentially saying that he was eligible and he was trying to suit up this weekend. Now, Ear Sports put it out, I think, at 5, so Kazaza, whatever. We didn't get any credit. Fine. I don't care. I know Brad was upset about it. But again, it's just a point of emphasis, and I see a few people commenting, and I'll highlight this in a minute, but this is what we do every day, right? And you could sit here and say we interpreted it off a tweet. Nobody would run a story off a very vague tweet. That's not how it works because you put your credibility and everything on the line. We had sources close to Jimmori that we're not going to disclose that validated this, and then we ran the story first at 3:15. So all good. We don't care, whatever. But then we get attacked by other people basically saying, oh, you guys are just putting it out there because it's a tweet and, it's not validated. Then all the stories come out at 5 o'clock. Oh, you guys just still interpret your graphs. That's not what we do, right? I'm not saying we've been right 100% of the time, but over the last several years, I know Brad's been right 90% of the time. I just joined as a partner this year, in December, and I'm telling you that Brad and I talk all the time. I know his sources are strong, and I trust Brad, and I trust his ability to get the news when he needs it. So, look, if you're running at 90-95% success rate from an accuracy standpoint, you're well ahead of any of the other local BS media. So that's all I'm going to say about it. I just really think it's frustrating when people attack us. Now, people are also saying that Rich Rod said Jimmori's not quite there this week. We're not hearing any of that. We're hearing from Jimmori's camp he's eligible, he's playing. Now, maybe Rich Rod doesn't want to let Pitt's defense prepare or offense prepare for Jimmori. I would understand that. Do you want to tip your hat and say that one of your best defensive players is going to be eligible this week? Probably not. So all I would say is this, and I said it to several of the other outlets that were giving us grief. You know what? Attack us after if we're proven wrong. Otherwise, shut up. We're not here to do this because we're trying to break news and put this stuff out there just for entertainment. We're putting it out there because we're being told one thing and we're trying to communicate that information to you guys. Because I know as a fan, I want to know it. I've been asking about it. I've been asking Brad about this for 3 weeks ever since trial. Hey, what's going on? Why haven't we gotten clearance? Why aren't we seeing him on the depth chart? We all feel the same way. But I know Brad. I know his sources. I saw the text. From the sources. I'm telling you right now, as far as Jimmori and his camp are concerned, they're playing this week. So whether Rich Rod wants to tip his hat to say that to Pitt or not, it's irrelevant. I'm just telling you what they're telling us. So, again, I would just appreciate if everybody just bears with it and, lets it play out instead of attacking everybody and attacking us over something that we haven't been able to really not validate yet, because at the end of the day, it is validated. So let's see what else we got. All right. For this weekend, again, for everybody that's just joining, your boy here, Bernie Mac, will be in the Blue Lot, broadcasting live from C9 at the Mountaineer Brothers tailgate. For anybody that has not seen their tailgates, they have a big VOM flag. They've got a big Mountaineer Brother banner in front of them. It's fantastic. They do a great job. They have a hell of a bourbon whiskey. And it's just a great opportunity to kind of come in, meet me. I'll be happy to have a conversation with anybody. I'm not here to fight with anybody. I know there's some bad blood between VOM and the past. That is not me. I'm just here to have a good time. Be out there with my wife, so don't pick any fights, any young bucks. I'm just going out there to enjoy the game, have a good time, and have fun. Let me see if I can find this right here and see what you guys could expect from the Blue Lot. Yeah, I can't find it. I can't find it. Anyway, so let's see. We'll address a few more comments that are coming up here. Hold on. All right. Well, just while we're on this topic, I will say that Mountaineer Paul did give you guys credit. I confirm. Yep, Paul's always good about that stuff. I actually did see him highlight us in his post about VOM breaking first, so I appreciate that. Cheers, Beers, Mountaineers. Thanks for highlighting. Jeff Keese on YouTube as well. I heard it first from you. Truly appreciate that. As you guys all know, there's a lot of hate toward VOM. I think from some past history that we've obviously tried to do a good job of cleaning up and making it a different format. And I think myself, Brad, and my partners this year have done a good job in doing that. So, again, I think this year we're just looking toward what we could be doing to have a good year and enjoy the program and do that kind of stuff. So with that being said, we're going to highlight a few more things. Everybody that is going to the game this weekend, please do not forget that there is a big Stripe the Stadium movement. If you are going to be at the game, make sure that you are striping the stadium. Here you go. For everybody that's not sure, whatever section you're in, I do think this adds a pretty cool ambiance to the game, very similar to whiteouts, blackouts. But, anytime we've done this, especially like against a team like Pitt, it's always fun. So be sure to find your spot. Make sure you're in the correct spot for the game. Let's see. We're going to take a few more. Nope, no more. Well, that's all I got. I've already been on 32 minutes. I don't know how that went, but it went fast. So, again, everybody that is going into the game this weekend, please look for me in the blue lot. I will be broadcasting 3 different live segments from section C9 in the blue lot. You can find the Mountain Your Brother banner, the VOM flag. I look forward to seeing everybody there. I really hope we're able to kind of get this back on track this week. Beat Pitt. I'll go from there. Eat shit, Pitt. Go Mountaineers.
To Morgantown, we break it first. WVU pride, we quench your thirst. No spin, all truth, loud and proud. Mountaineer nation, say it loud. The voice of Morgantown. VOM, Mountaineer pride, we go all in. First to the facts, last to the spin. It's the voice of Morgantown.